Miss Kristi here, and I am so excited to be together again cooking in the kitchen. Today we are learning how to make vanilla graham sandwiches. This small treat uses just 4 ingredients and it's no bake. We just pop them in our freezer for 30 minutes to harden up and we will make 2 graham sandwiches. We're gonna have fun making this together today, and I'm so glad you're here.
All is calm and all is bright tonight.
Now, the first step to cooking and working in the kitchen is to wash our hands. While I wash my hands with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds, let's go over the ingredients and supplies that you'll need to gather to cook along today. The ingredients you'll need are 2 graham crackers, half a cup of Cool Whip, 2 tablespoons of vanilla instant pudding mix, and 1 tablespoon of sprinkles. The supplies you'll need are a small mixing bowl, 2 small plates, half a cup dry measuring cup, 1 tablespoon, 1 spoon, and a butter knife. Okay, great. Your hands are clean and my hands are clean. We've gathered our ingredients and supplies, so let's get started making our vanilla graham sandwiches. This is just a fun treat, no bake. We pop it in the freezer for 30 minutes and then we have this fun little new graham cracker treat. So the first thing we need to do is grab one of your small plates. So our supply list had 2 small plates, we just need 1. And all I'm going to do is put the sprinkles on here to get them ready for when we dunk them in. So grab your plate, put that in front of you, and then grab your 1 tablespoon. It's the only one like this that we're using today. It says 1 TBSP. And then grab your sprinkles. And all I'm going to do is measure 1 tablespoon of sprinkles and put it right onto the plate. And spread it out a little bit. Now you can use any sprinkles you'd like. Maybe it's around the holidays and you want to use a festive color sprinkle. Any type of sprinkles you want to use is perfect. I just have some multicolored confetti sprinkles, so that's what I'm using today. But you can put your sprinkles to the side. We're done with those, but keep your tablespoon near you. We will use that one more time. And then the sprinkles on the plate, we can just set that to the side. We'll use that in a minute, but we need to mix a couple things together first. So next we want to mix our vanilla pudding mix and our whipped cream. So I'm going to grab the small mixing bowl that we had in our supply list and put that right in front of me. And then I also need a few more things. I need my half a cup dry measuring cup. It's the one that says 1/2. And then I also need my spoon and my Cool Whip. So all I'm going to do now is measure out half a cup of Cool Whip and put it into my small mixing bowl. So I'm just using my spoon. And if you get a little bit more, that's okay. All we're gonna end up doing is spreading this on graham crackers. It's just nice to know how much we need. So if you make this again, you don't necessarily have to measure it exactly, but we need about a half a cup of Cool Whip to be spread in between 2 graham crackers. All right, so I have about a half a cup. I'm gonna set the other aside, and all I'm gonna do is take my spoon and get this into my mixing bowl. And get as much as you can as possible. All right, keep your spoon near you. We're gonna use that to mix with in just a minute. You can put your half a cup dry measuring cup. We're done with that. You can put that to the side. And now we need to put in our vanilla pudding mix. So this is just going to give it a vanilla flavor. It helps to add a little bit more sweetness. If you tried this and decided you just want Cool Whip in the middle of your graham crackers squares, you don't have to add the pudding mix. It does help thicken it up a little bit, gives it a bit more flavor. So we're gonna add it to this. So go ahead and grab your vanilla pudding instant mix and your tablespoon. So we need that one that says 1 TBSP. That's what we're gonna measure, 2 tablespoons of vanilla instant pudding mix. So all I did was open my pudding. It usually comes in a little box. I just opened it up, dumped some in a bowl, and now I just need 2 tablespoons of it. So I'm just gonna scoop it in, sprinkle it right on top. Here's 1. And gonna do 1 more, 2 tablespoons of vanilla instant pudding mix right on top of our whipped cream. Now you can set this to the side, your tablespoon, we're done with that. You can put any extra vanilla pudding mix you might have to the side. Now I'm gonna grab my spoon and all I'm gonna do is mix this together. We want to mix it until it no longer looks grainy. So that pudding mix is a little bit grainy in texture. We want to mix this together so that it's nice and creamy. It also helps thicken up our Cool Whip a little bit. So the best of your ability, and I always say it doesn't have to be perfect, it's gonna taste good. It's also gonna start to turn it more of a cream color instead of just plain white from our Cool Whip. But you can see, as you're stirring it, it kind of sounds like sand a little bit. So I want all of that to get mixed together. So keep stirring. Probably need to stir a little bit longer than you think you do, but until you don't hear that pudding mix kind of grinding up on your bowl, we want it all inside of our Cool Whip. You can kind of see it thickens it up a bit, makes it a bit more fluffy, gives it some structure so it's not so whipped like Cool Whip normally is. And I'm just mixing this together. I want to get that vanilla pudding mix all inside of our whipped cream, or Cool Whip. All right. From here, all we're gonna do is now grab our graham crackers. So our recipe called for 2 graham crackers, and I'm going to carefully break them in half. Now, when you break them in half, if they end up breaking a little bit more, no big deal. Grab a different graham cracker, still use it. Doesn't have to be perfect, but sometimes when I break mine in half, they break a little bit more. So let's see if we can get a clean break today. Got lucky on that one. I'm just gonna put that down right in front of me. Same thing with the next one. Carefully break it in the middle. Oh, I got lucky today. All right, so now I'm just going to take my spoon and do 1 big spoonful right on 1 graham cracker. Let me move this up a little bit. So 2 of them are the tops and 2 of the bottoms. So whatever ones you choose to be your bottoms, I'm gonna do 1 big spoonful, and I'm not necessarily measuring it. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's already mixed together. So I'm just trying to do, there should be enough for 2 big spoonfuls all together. So I've got 1 big spoonful, and here's another one. You could take your tablespoon and measure out 2 tablespoons on here. That's really what it is equivalent to, but since we have our spoon, it's a little bit easier to just take 2 big spoonfuls, and that's about the whole bowl. All right, so you can set that to the side. You're done with your mixture, and now I'm just going to grab my butter knife, and all I'm gonna do is smooth this out a little bit. Now, you could just put the top on and smush it down if you wanna skip this step, but I like to just make it a little bit flatter. That way it smushes out evenly, because we need some to come out on the sides so that we can dunk it into some sprinkles. All right, so I smoothed it out a little bit, kind of evened it out on my graham cracker. And from here, keep your knife aside, we might need that in a second. You're just gonna take each top and press it on gently. You don't wanna break your graham cracker, so just give it a gentle smush down. And from here, like I said, we may use this. You can take your knife and just smooth out the sides a little bit. That way we have enough Cool Whip to dunk into our sprinkles, because that's what's gonna hold our sprinkles onto the sides. So you can, if it doesn't smush out enough for you, like you can see, I just smoothed it out on the sides so that way there's a little bit more all the way around. And same thing with this one. You can press hard, or you can just take your knife and carefully around each corner, spread that Cool Whip out a little bit. And this is the fun part, I think. All right, you can set your butter knife aside. We are done with that. And all I'm gonna do now is grab our plate of sprinkles and my other plate. So I now have the 2 plates in front of me, because that's where they're gonna go to sit on in the freezer. All I'm gonna take it is each side and just dunk it right into our sprinkle mixture. And you can see, because we smoothed out that Cool Whip, it sticks to the side. So you just really push it down to the best of your ability, all 4 sides. And then just set it right on your plate, because this is the one that's gonna go in the freezer. So the same thing I'm gonna do with the second one. Just get my sprinkles back here in the middle. This is why we have clean hands. And dunk it right in there. So this is why it would be fun if it was around the holidays and you wanted to do maybe a few holiday colors like Halloween, if you did orange and black sprinkles. Maybe it's around Christmas time, you want to use red and green. For any time you just get the craving for this, go ahead and use confetti sprinkles. All right. And about a tablespoon is enough. So again, we just measured 1 tablespoon, and that's kind of the perfect amount to go all around all 4 sides of 2 graham cracker sandwiches. So now from here, you can put your sprinkle plate aside. We are done with that. Because this is a no-bake treat, all we now have to do is pop this in the freezer, and all that does, it just hardens up a little bit. So that way when you bite into it, the Cool Whip doesn't just go everywhere. It gives it a little bit more substance. So we're now going to put this in our freezer for 30 minutes at least. You could pop it in there a little bit longer. Again, it's just gonna harden up a bit for when we take a bite. It's just kind of that perfect crunch. So pop it in your freezer for 30 minutes, and once my timer goes off, we will talk about getting them out and we'll give them a try. In they go. All right, friends, this is exciting. So the 30-minute timer just went off, and all I've done is taken them out of my freezer. They're still on the plate that we popped them in on, but this is it. Now we're done. So you can see that once we put them in the freezer for a few minutes, the sprinkles stay on a little bit better. They've gotten hard for when we take a bite. It doesn't all squish out, but this is it. This is our vanilla graham sandwiches. It's just a fun new treat to try. It's real quick to put together. All we had to do was take our Cool Whip, mix it with some pudding mix, spread it on, and then pop it in the freezer after we've dunked it in some sprinkles. So I do hope you try and make it, or try and make it again. And when you do, let me know how it goes. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you have any questions. You can even send me a picture of how your vanilla graham sandwiches turned out. Maybe you decided to add a different ingredient or different sprinkles. I'd love to get to see your creation, and maybe we can share it next week. Speaking of next week, on next week's episode, which is episode 61, we are learning how to make Meatball Sub Muffins. This small meal uses just 5 ingredients. They cook in our oven for 15 minutes, and we will make 4 Meatball Sub Muffins. In order to cook along and make our Meatball Sub Muffins, these are the ingredients that you'll need to have in your kitchen for next week. 4 crescent rolls, 4 frozen meatballs, 1 string cheese, 2 tablespoons of cream cheese, and 4 tablespoons of pizza sauce, or about 1/4 cup. Well, friends, our time together today is almost over. I do hope you've enjoyed learning how to make our vanilla graham sandwiches. I know I had fun, and I already can't wait to cook together again next time. But before you say goodbye to this episode, make sure to click subscribe if you haven't already. You just have to click the little picture of me in the corner. That way you don't miss next week's episode. It'll be out on Friday, and I'll see you then. Bye, friends. It's time to eat.